Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. My next guest is a phenom in his field. He is an embodied Arcturian, and he is here with us today to teach us about building your mind and restoring your light body and much, much more. Please welcome Arcturus Ra to Quantum Conversations. Hi, Arcturus. Thank you for being here.
Hello. How are you doing?
Wonderful. We can totally feel the vibration of your voice and your whole beingness. It's such a pleasure to be with you today.
Oh, thank you.
We have a lot to talk about. You say that the plasma in our body is something we need to pay attention to, and that's all about being grounded and being nourished. Before we get there and before we talk about building your mind and restoring our light body in the most effective, efficient way, let's talk about you and your awakening and you embodying your knowledge, your inner knowingness of being an Arcturian embodied. Start with your awakening process. How did you awaken?
Could be a Lord of the Ring type story. Lord of the Rings. I am not a walk-in. I'm a born-in. They call it a crawl-in, which I find it a creepy name. I had an invisible friend, which is an Essassani, a watcher, since I was born, always walking next to me. For the first 5 years of my life, like many kids have invisible friends, they are clowns or they're animals. Usually it's them. We all have guides to assist us as we come into this world, because the process of being an extraterrestrial being in human form is a highly fragile and complex process in maintaining that, staying in the vessel. So we're being watched, we have babysitters, we're being guided because we're still children. We're still I think we're just about now coming out of the infant stage in our evolution. So when I was 5, I almost fell out of my mom's car's back because I was irritated when this Essassani being would pop in and out of dimensions. And I tried to basically jump out of my mom's car while she was driving on the highway. So that was one cataclysmic event where I shut it down. I said, you can't come in here like this. I'm in 2 worlds. I see you. Everybody else does not see you. I don't really know where the heck I'm at. I need to find an orientation in this life. So I kind of like had so much fear. Like imagine as a child going to bed, my room was full of beings. Whether it was gnomes, elves, trolls, whatever beings, shadows, I had everything. Too much.
Were you scared?
Yeah. For a long time. And I had a night light, because the light would basically make them go away. Later on I learned regular 60 hertz light is unholy. That's why interdimensional beings cannot appear in an electric grid, basically. So the electric is part of the prism planet manipulation to mind control us to not see into other dimensions. So I know that as a fact, because if you go into the woods without all of that stuff, or Tesla electricity that's harmonized, you'll begin to see again. Talking about ships, gnomes, trolls, elves, pixies. They come when the energy is holy, within and around you. But back to me, so I had the night light, and I shut down my psyche as best as I could. So for many years, my only link that I had was the theoretical aspect of mysteries of the universe. So I read books like Erich von Däniken. My mom had books from 1963 on the shelf that caught my interest. Like as if my higher self would work through me, and a book on a shelf would just, when you highlight something with a marker, I would see that book kind of like standing out more. And then I picked that book and started reading. And from 11 on, without knowing the trend of Starseed or the words of esoteric and metaphysical and the occult, I started reading about UFOs, Sasquatch, Stonehenge, Bermuda Triangle, Mayas, lost civilization, and it sucked me in like Indiana Jones. I was like fascinated with it. The minute I watched Star Trek, I was a Trekkie. Not collecting figures or posters, but that to me seemed to be a normal world.
Yes.
Identified with Spock very much. I think Spock is very Arcturian, like a more humanized version of an Arcturian being, also of the blue ray. That's why Spock wears the blue outfit. Also, Star Trek is a derivative of the Council of Nine. The original crew member on that ship is 9 members, always having to solve problems in the universe while exploring. So I was home when I saw that in Germany, dubbed in German. I'm half German, mind you. So anything outer space, off-world, other planetary caught my interest. As if this was a higher self protocol running through me, teaching me these are the things you need to learn in order to have, I'm sorry, I have this other thing ringing here, but I'm going to turn it off. So basically to remind me to be equipped for what's to come, for things that I have to build, which in the end turned out to be phenomenal, is that I'm a Arcturian Scientist, also Starfleet Commander, which I later on in life learned. So growing up, not knowing or basically not remembering when I got picked up, and I got picked up all the time, and it wasn't an abduction as many people described it as a scary scenario. I was visited, and we had consultations and counseling and exchange of knowledge, and I realized, as a woman, I wrote a book, it's called Human by Day, Zeta by Night, is many of us don't understand. You're human by day, and when you go to bed, you leave your vessel and you go into your ET avatar body on whatever workstation you are, which you have to process. That's the process life. Otherwise, you wouldn't make it. Let me describe. A workstation is, if you watch the series Deep Space Nine, that station is a workstation, or as the Keys of Enoch by Mr. Hertog describes, a way station. So that's not so etherical, where souls come and meet and, all of these different races. This is very physical. The problem is that we're not allowed to bring the memory back from these ships when we come back here. I'm already in contact online with people that remember me from the ships. Like they have clear memories. I'm in a either a robe or a spacesuit, and we're teaching, and there's an exchange of knowledge taking place, emotional body, thought processes. And a lot of humans, basically, that know each other on the ships don't know each other in life. Some are even couples up there, but they're not couples in life. It's very interesting how this all changes when it goes fifth dimensional. Some people are married, and they're up there, and they have 2 partners. And it's not to suggest anything. This is how it is. There's no conceptual thinking of or preconceived notion of what whatever you call it here. Yeah. It's like however they choose to be with somebody by experience, and that can be somebody else in another sequence or another segment. Not like here where you pick life partners and the kids and all of that stuff. It's completely different up there. And it's understood, and it's respected and mutually agreed upon. So therefore, you don't have a perversion going on like you have on Earth, where you can say the Kundalini energy or sexual energy is being misused and perverted because people don't know how to channel those energies anymore. This is a divine energy that requires mutual agreements and divine channelings and synchronizing the energy fields of our bodies. So basically, through life, me growing up, going through a lot of things, not knowing that they were set in place to bring me to an activation protocol that happened in November 2005 when I got this urge or this input where a voice was telling me, and I was in Holland at the time, to try out magic mushrooms. I was always against mind-altering substance. I don't know why that was. I was trying to protect myself, like knowing like if I tap into this, I might get lost or lose my mind. So when I took those mushrooms, I thought it's going to be a trip like everybody describes, you know, colors, euphoria, all that. Little did I know, I'm aboard a ship. I'm in two places. I'm on Earth and I'm on a ship. And they're like, oh, it's time you show up. School begins. And then I was downloaded why I'm here, mission protocols, how the human race as an extraterrestrial race fell to Earth, the many planets, the technologies that used to be here, the wars that took place on Earth. Like, people have no idea how deep this goes. Like, I also believe that Earth was a former Tiamat and was bigger, and we blew it up. Like, there were, I think, the Anunnaki against Anunnaki, and in the mix, Draconians, like misunderstanding, extraterrestrial beings playing God, genetic manipulation. Everything was downloaded into me as in, remember this. You have a job to do. And I'm like, oh my God. So me thinking I just tripped my brains out, quote unquote. It wasn't like that. It was protocol, strategically placed and mapped. Knowledge blocks were downloaded into me, into Stargate technologies, opening the sky, weather regulating technologies, mind body, soul body, etheric, electric, magnetic body, and plasmic body, structuring everything. And I didn't even know how to put it together. You know, when you imagine millions of years of knowledge downloaded within 6 hours into your brain. I had like 7 movies going into my third eye, and it was like, it was climactic, if that word even makes sense. It was like when people think they know what climax is, they really don't know what a climax is. Climax is when you really know what's going on in the cosmic sense. When you have a memory of who you are, that's a climax. When you remember originally, that's where the word Easu comes from, those who remember the knowledge of Ea, which is Enlil, the brother, Enki, the brother of Enlil, Sumerian text. I suggest study the Terra papers by Robert Morningsky. He explains that in detail, as we have original cell memory of cosmic interstellar travelers, which is who we are. And somewhere along the line during the fall, I learned in these downloads that I got, we fell out of consciousness. Not only that, it was a conscious war, a war about consciousness. So the weapons that were unleashed did not only, like, imagine a super nuclear holocaust that would wipe almost every human being on Earth, a flood that wiped almost everything, and then that what was left over was so destroyed that we forgot who we were also. And I learned that during the trip. Also, I had near-death experiences throughout my life, 4, where I crossed fully conscious to the other side and were in connection with ancient Mayan priests, intergalactic guardians. I mean, beings that don't even have a name in commercial books, that all basically run the same storyline. It's like the minute you awake or your protocol kicks in, you know you have a responsibility to repair this planet and help to elevate the consciousness. And for those who do not do it, they will get stuck in a time cycle, something like Laura Eisenhower, in another 25,000-year time cycle where you have to reincarnate over and over and over until you get it. This window is now to not having to reincarnate, to elevate, and being ready to at some point go interstellar. And for that, we have to expand our mind. And this is my main major mission protocol, which also goes back to when I was 9 years old. The first Lego thing that my mom bought for me, like these Lego blocks, was a command center with a landing platform for craft that I established on Earth. And that is my major download, basically, is to get land and to build a Starseed starport for interdimensional scout and carrier craft to prepare for contact. And that is, some people say it could be a Mandela effect, that we run out there and expect them to come and they will never ever come and never ever return. We have cell memories of them returning, which is correct, but I also know that if we dimensionally set up platforms that allow them to safely manifest themselves, they will come back. Basically, they just, you can say, a nano particle away of a time dimension. They hear. Only oscillate just a very, very, like, smaller than a fraction of a hair of a frequency segment that they can come in and out. And when we get our shit together, basically, pardon my French, it's safe for them to appear, because the thing is, you know, they come here and they get shut down. You know, it's like one guy explained that so nicely. He said, imagine you are a higher evolutionary consciousness. You want to make contact with your children, but it's an insane asylum where everybody is trigger happy and everybody has Uzis. And that's where we don't want to land there, because it's going to be detrimental for the higher consciousness, because, you know, they lost beings before coming here. So they are very, very sensitive and very, very cautious how they come here, because they don't want to get shot at and shut down and, you know, basically raped for their technology, which they are willing to share. But the thing is, this is about moral technology and conscious technology. And that's the major thing that I've learned, basically. So basically my major activation, and people want to call it awakening, I was already in the topic, but I got this protocol of now get to work. And I was in a rapper in a rap career, and that was cut. Like, very quick, they were like, your career's over, and I made good money. I could have bought a house back then, but they're like, cut. My record label dropped me, and my relationship, they said, it's not beneficial to whatever you're working on. You need to be in a state of expansion and bliss. That is over too. So all the mechanisms were put in gear to get me out of thinking this is my life. And it's really, really hard, even though if you're interested in a topic, when you make the experience and you are contacted, that's a whole other topic. You know, when you have beings appearing, coming in dream state and really clearly giving you messages. That's how I was told to move to Sedona. They said, for what I need to be setting up, or for what's to come, I need to be at a nodal point, which is a place on Earth where the veil is very, very thin, you know. That's where the ships come in and out. That's where contact is much, much more better. And Sedona is like a place for, like, yeah, I have a brainstorm like every day. Like, I can invent a gadget every freaking day. That's how aligned this energy is. But I also had to process everything out of my body, my shadow body, consciousness, regrets, guilt, all the stuff that was unclear within me, I had to process out. And basically, from my first psychedelic experience, I also tried ayahuasca. I tried it 3 times. Also, mind you, this is a really respect that stuff and be very cautious, even if anybody wants to decide to go to Peru. Ayahuasca is an induced near-death experience.
Oh.
Okay, that's why it can be dangerous if you have a weak heart. So you have to really know what you're doing, especially with the diet. You can eat a banana and it's toxic and you die. Just no, this is no joke. And sacred knowledge. Well, anyway, on my 3rd ayahuasca trip, blue beings came in. I don't know if they were Esasani or Arcturians. They kind of look like the Greys, but kind of like with Buddha faces, like very divine, whole, like the symmetry was just holy and overwhelming. Oh, wow. And they took me out of my trip, and they said, this ends here. You're an ET, you're type O negative. That means you have 0 rhesus monkey DNA in you. You are 100% ET in human form. And you cannot do these archaic processes from the past to contact us. That is not good for your vessel. And I was stopped. And basically, took me out of the trip and put me on a ship. And when I came back and tried to explain to the shaman what happened to me, the guy was clueless. So the real deal happens. A lot of people that use the esoteric flag have no answer. So that's how you know when somebody has no experience, like hands-on, you have no answer, basically. So people need to be really, really cautious with talking to wannabe contactees and people that have contact. Also know that I'm bringing what I'm learning on a ship into physical form. Everything of my developments you see in a store, any geometry, everything that I developed, I douse out, I learn on the ships, and I bring it into form. It's not like I have a fantastic story of ships coming in, I'm being picked up, and I have nothing, I don't do nothing with that. I'm more the interface of make it physical now. You know, you want physical contact, where's the physical platform? Stephen Greer is already doing a phenomenal job by helping people to meditate how to make contact. He had already stuff set up where they come in, but they don't stay. So my mission is now, okay, find a spot where they can actually safely stay, where the energy is projected to a point where it is safe for them to make contact and stay a little longer and exchange more information. And military is not required. Surveillance is not required. And also, some of us are, you can say, interdimensional or cosmic royals. Any interference we have with that is being noted in the Akashic records. So you can get karmic minus points for interfering or not supporting. As we talked earlier before about conscious capital, that also came in, is that we have to now make a conscious decision with what we do with the money that we have designed to ground ourselves and to find out what are we doing with that. It's not the root of all evil. The root of all evil is the decisions of the egoic in service to self or draconian program that runs it. And it doesn't matter who you are. What matters is what are you aligning to.
Yes.
Yeah. What channels are you subscribing to? You know, are you subscribing to Draconian 5 or Pleiadian 7? You know, it's like you have to really know what channels are you picking and develop the awareness of what channel is picked and what am I in communication with, you know. So it's sad to see that we have billionaires on this earth that sit on a ton of money, real estate, 200 acres, a mansion with 50 rooms, 30 cars, but nothing esoteric that helps to bring back riverbeds or the sea or the consciousness in water is being built from that. And that is where you are not conscious.
Yes.
You just sit on a lot of energy, and that's called stalling, you know. And we need to find the people by divine right, and it also has to do with it's also an interdimensional thing with the Saint Germain Fund, that come to us and gift us and support us without trying to own anything from what we do. So the purity is basically established of what's being created.
What a story. And perfect. You are an Arcturian Scientist and a Starfleet Commander.
Yes. I, as a child, fourth grader, I watched this a science fiction it was called Logan's Run.
Yes.
And the next day, I put a crystal in my hand with glue, which is what you shouldn't do. It's not good for the skin anyway. After a day or two, it just gets weird. And took a copper. There was a guy. This is an interesting story. This is just really to put in perspective, to realize that you're extraterrestrial in human form. I don't know. I must have been 11 or 12 years old. I glue that crystal in my hand, and then I take copper wire from a phone line that people came and fixed the phone line to our house, and they had the wire left over, and I asked for that wire. And I sit at home, and the guy, the postal worker, not postal worker, the technician showed me how to wrap copper coils around the pencil. I wonder why this guy was even showing that to me. So I took that idea like it's the Holy Grail and wrapped these coils around pencils. 12 years old, not having a clue of, plasmic energy and making coils. And, the web is full of Slim Sperling or Jim Sperling with coiling copper wire, Keshe Foundation, getting plasma in motion. So I'm making a coil and design a gadget that I put behind my ear. And then I go to school and they like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm not from here. They're like, yeah, it's just because you watch that science fiction. I'm like, no, no, no. The coil behind my ears are for actually better energy flow and perception and reception. And I just said that as if I was programmed to say it, not knowing why I said it. And later on in life, I realized that I was already, these are technical skills that I have from upstairs that kind of bled through too soon. Now I'm making these coils again, but this time I'm putting them in orgonite and machines in pyramid and bringing it to function. So I was very, very well on task with what I did, thinking when I was younger, oh, you're just creative, you're just very fantastic. This is all creative mind. But this now, it's pre-elected for what I have to do. That's why this is so profound. This all makes sense. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, it all makes sense now. It is amazing, truly, truly amazing that you knew it all along, and you remember those experiences where you did shut it down, and then the blue beings being on the ships, the fact that we go to our ET avatar body when we sleep is really amazing as well. So let's talk a little bit about dreams then, because this is something to definitely pay attention. And I understand that there's different kinds of dreams that are clearing perhaps different timelines or past events or helping you process. So talk a little bit about dreams then.
Okay, so we have to understand that are not dreams. That word dream is just a metaphor to distance yourself actually from a real experience.
Okay.
What you do is when you go to bed, and ideally in a place that's face conjugate. I will explain to you what that means, a holy place. All of our beds are not in a holy angle. All of our rooms are not in a holy place. We have 60 hertz running in our electricity. We're not EMF shielded at our homes. We're not in a holy place. We have to know this. We have to biohack ourselves back into a holy place where we can actually leave the body and return with full memory.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to sleep, your assignment team, there's a movie called The Adjustment Bureau, so I call them the adjusters.
Yes.
Some other Zetas, good ones, and some are as Hassani and other races, that await you by your bedside the minute you leave your body. And when you leave your body, it's like you're somebody else. It's almost we're like split conscious. And then they guide you to the ship so you don't get lost. And in a ship there are chambers with machines kind of similar to what we have on Earth, like for neurological programming, EEG, all that stuff, but much more sophisticated. So you sit in those machines, and then you review your past experience, past life experience, or a timeline experience, and they will come in form of a holographic insert, and that is what you call a dream.
Okay.
My girlfriend remembers being on a ship cruise, but the ship didn't touch the water. It was hovering over the water, and it was a party. Everybody knew everybody, and they were having fun, and it was like a carnival and a fun fair and all of that. And she said it was a strange dream, and I said it wasn't a dream. You were in a ship, and you were probably on a way station where everybody's welcomed, and you feel very rejuvenated and really activated because your soul protocol gets actually charged when you're in the correct sequence. When you have a nightmare, you discharge. I think that we shouldn't have nightmares the way we have on Earth. I think that has to do with mind manipulation and interference that goes through the electric grid. In Germany, it's 50 hertz. In America, it's 60 hertz. And I think that there are systems at work that have an influence to every household on the planet that runs off regular electricity to have access. And they interfere with your progress.
Oh, my.
all of us. And that's for also like a message for the non-believers. If you want to make contact and begin regulating and biohacking yourself, go to Mount Shasta and camp for a week and tell me you haven't experienced anything unusual, because you will. Like, turn the social media off, turn your phone off at night, really shut it off. Go to airplane mode if you have an Apple phone. Really shut the Wi-Fi off if you don't have shielding mechanisms in your house that protect you. And you'll come back with the most phenomenal stories. That's even for people that have never seen anything, or never, if you had never seen a ship or never made an experience with any other dimensional weirdness, go to places like Mount Shasta or Kauai to camp there and leave yourself open and then see what's happening. For those that are not open, also, they have to understand that the media is programmed to keep you in 3D.
Yes.
It's not designed to open you up to be perceptive. I mean, I know 10-year-old kids that can see elves, like naturally.
Wow.
They didn't even know that others can't see them. So the kids confirm to me what's out there. What I don't see it all the time. I have a filter so I can work here on Earth, because if I see everything happening, it's very difficult to function on this planet. You know, you're at the supermarket and you see a little troll running through the cereal box, and you want to chase them, they're going to lock you up very quick.
Oh, yeah, they will.
Yeah, so you have to, it's like partition your hard drive. You like, you have to tell them, this is the space where we can talk and where you can come in, and this is the space where I work. It's like you want to keep the kids out of your workshop, basically.
Wow.
So dreams are not dreams. You are ET by night, and you're human by day.
ET by night and human by day. Yes. And I loved what you said there about biohacking yourself. We're going to talk about how to do that a little bit further. But I have 2 questions before we get there, and actually a lot of questions. This is going to be a great show.
Okay.
Dreams are not dreams. And
yes.
Often when our loved ones leave this physical plane, we can experience dreams, which many of us know are visitations.
Yes.
And what about the different types of dreams? For example, my dad, after he passed, we were great adversaries in this lifetime. I understand it fully now, his role and my role. We did agree to it. But after he died, I saw him young. He was 20-some years old, no shirt on, with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And such love coming from that it literally shook me. In the dream, there was just such a great connection. I was like, oh, you're here. And then on another note, my father-in-law, who transitioned, had no belief in the afterlife whatsoever. He thought, that's it. It's over once you go. About 10 to 12 days after he passed, my husband and I both had a dream. They were both different, but on the same night. I saw him as an old, elderly, frail man on the arm of a guy in a suit. And he said, Loren, how do we get to the gate? How do I get to the gate? And I said, just go over there. That was a very vivid dream. Can you share about the dream state and visitations? Does this give us clues into the soul crossing over?
Yeah, basically the dreams are also templates that are designed for your understanding at the level of wherever your consciousness is, what you can perceive. So maybe you saw your dad, the other one that was older. First of all, in Matrix, they talk about the residual self-image. So the residual self-image is the imaginary you. This is how you imagine yourself. So when your other dad-in-law passed, he was clinging on to the thought that he would still see him as, he was not letting go, basically. He saw himself as old, which is only a concept of the mind. It's not real. And he didn't know how to cross. And basically you came up there and you showed him how to cross energetically. So you helped him pass on. He can move on now. So this wasn't a dream, this was an interface where you were supposed to meet and you're supposed to help him.
Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. You also mentioned Essassani.
Essassani, yes. Bashar is Essassani. Bashar is which is what I feel, he channels himself from the future. So I don't know if he's 100,000 years ahead of himself, or he channels himself into this vessel here. A Sasani is a mixture of humanoid Zeta Arcturian hybrid. So the Zetas are kind of distant cousins of the Sasani.
All right, here's a question. I can hear Althea's question coming in. She is one who remembers herself as an ET, a Zeta.
Yes.
And she would like to know, what is the Zeta role in the current awakening of humanity?
Well, the Zetas are our creation. I did a video which I highly recommend. This is the Zetas are us from the future. We have created the Zeta, and I'll give you the storyline of what happened.
Okay.
The Zeta are a creation of where the human race picked a timeline where they decided that the emotional body is too complicated to develop over time, so they tried to find a modality to outbreed the emotional body. Not only that, they took the gender away, made it androgynous, made it more of a, you can say, the human vessel, or vessels are conscious carriers for spirit forms, so we can work. Like a diving suit when you dive in the deep sea. The Zeta suit is that from the future. We have created that, but the era that the Zetas have basically created through us, because they are ancestors, was outbreeding the gender, which had them to revert to cloning, so they can switch the souls, from clone to clone, which messed with the soul matrix. Emotion got lost, empathy got lost, and the wish to co-create and procreate got lost, and the passion. And the Zetas were about to go extinct. That completely wiped out. And extinct means that species disappearing, never to return. So they fell in consciousness by creating and outbreeding their gender, their emotional body, the process, the empathy, all of that stuff, because they thought it's not beneficial. So they developed technology, superior technology, mind you, and a superior mind and super psychic. But without an emotional body and without empathy, you're going extinct. That's universal law. You can't do that. So they cloned and cloned and cloned till they got very, very cold. But they realized they're dying. So that alerted them to go back in time before the genes got actually polluted. And I think they went back not only here in our timeline, I think they went back to Neanderthal times, way, way before creation, where the genes were pure enough to modify the genes into what we are, hybrid race. And this is to save the species in the future. So basically one timeline that disintegrates assists in us surviving this here on Earth. So this is who the Zetas are.
It is an amazing story. And you mentioned earlier when you saw Spock, you thought he is Arcturian, definitely the blue ray.
Yeah.
And isn't it amazing, though, that he doesn't have emotions?
Exactly. And he is conflicted because he's half human.
Uh-huh.
That has to do with the hint of hybrid race. So, if you watch Star Trek or if you're a Trekkie, there's times when Spock allows himself to have emotions, but it's a trip for him.
Mm-hmm.
Although he's very efficient and highly intelligent, but he has to he's the embodiment of an Arcturian being that has to bring emotion and the mental capacity of the high intellect into one. And that's exactly what I'm going through.
Yes. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. You said you had to process everything out of the body.
Yes.
Tell us how you did that. That's through diet, but that's much more. These are cellular memories. How do we do this? What's the journey?
The journey is find holy places. For those that have special jobs and can build stuff, I mean, there's 15-year-olds that build, electricity harvester that harvest voltage from the air. Like all of these kids, they need not to be in metropolitan areas. We need, in one of my latest videos that are called Building Noah's Ark, we need a Starseed, Starport, Recreational Retreat and Recalibration Center.
Yes.
That's where we all get together talk the same lingo, develop our psyche. Also with people that believe in the Bible, which I always give, it's an acronym to me, BIBLE, Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth.
Oh, I love that.
And that wasn't even made up by me. That was made up by a rap group called the Wu-Tang Clan, which was pretty famous in the 90s. And but that makes a lot of sense, that acronym to me. It makes a lot of sense. So it's a space manual for those who know how to read it. So in the back of Revelations, people that deal with the Bible, check Revelations where it talks about the city of light. It describes the geometry, the crystals are being used, the energy is being to be released, and these are the cities that we need to build in order to recreate our angelic empire.
How do we build these cities then? You're doing it with the many tools.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm already preparing. I have somebody else who's running you can say an Indiegogo campaign. They don't have a title yet, so otherwise I would announce it, where your funding is everybody funds a brick.
Yes.
And it's gonna be like domes made out of crystalline substance, all domed, no more square lodges. Maybe an office or like a headquarters, but a living situation, domed, based on holy geometry, to make the space that you're living in holy again. Also, whatever electricity we have, whatever modality we have, there are machines and gadgets now that decrease the consumption and make it holy again. So you have electricity coming into your home that resonates on a Schumann resonance. One guy named Ben Lontree, he makes these power gadgets where you plug the feeder for the house into it, and the 60 hertz is cut, and you have 7.83 hertz Schumann resonance coming into your home, which is earth frequency. So then there's the Keshe Foundation. They have the thing that's called the Gravitational Mag-Grav collector that you plug into your home, and it drops the consumption by 60%. It's officially already out. And what it does is it takes the electromagnetism from the air and filters and changes the frequency coming into your house. And we need to change basically what's coming into our home. I'm building devices that will harmonize your home. I'm working on this big water fountain, which is a custom design job that will harmonize the air. Also get ionizers for your homes and turn the ozone off. Like you need an ionization machine in your home that produces negative ions, which makes the air more conductive to your skin, the air fresher, and you're more psychic. And an air purifier is not doing the job.
It has to be an ionizer.
It has to be an ionizer. Air gets pure through negative ions. Negative ions transport dust particles, allergens, bacteria out. They neutralize that. And an air purifier doesn't do that.
Okay, some of the gadgets that you build and make, these work with the EMF fields, yes?
Yes. Basically, what they do is they don't directly get into the frequency. What they do is they give the body the light frequency to defend itself against that.
Okay.
So your light quotient is basically physically enhanced. These pendants are that powerful. They work on humans. They also work on cars. I have a fuel-saving device that I'm successfully selling, which you clip that to your fuel line and you have savings up to 48%. Because what I'm doing is I'm leaning against the zero field, and with the photonic acceleration that comes from my devices, and again I tell people, like, I have physical evidence with people that buy, and a video where I'm testing a Chevy. Every now and then I rent a car and I show you what I do and show you the readings on the computer inside the car. I had like 62% savings with the car. Not only that, I have more horsepower, the car has better grip, the tires don't dry rot that fast, and the viscosity of the oil and clarity lasts double the mileage. So what I'm doing is I'm harmonizing the molecule structure as I'm leading the car towards the zero field. If you do too much, it'll shut the car off. That explains when ships come in and your engine stops running. Ships run on phase conjugate energy, which is what you call the love field. They run on harmonized energy, harmonized voltage, harmonized crystalline power. And I'm bringing that into physical form. On a future project, I'm also working on a weather regulator that when you set it up, basically let's say you live in England or France and you have bad weather, then we set up a few of those big devices and the bad weather will disappear. That has to do with, first of weather manipulation and the consciousness of the people that are depressed. But you can make them happy by setting up those generators in big cities. So there's stuff that we can do. I have also a device I can bring back a riverbed. If the river has a pH level that sucks and the fish disappeared, I can build basically a water earth crystalline battery that you put into that river and the river comes back.
That is what so many of our light workers are out doing as well. That would be wonderful. That's really important, our waters.
Yes.
I have a vision, you know, when you go to Kauai,
Yes.
the waves that are cresting, they are turquoise blue. And we need to bring that color back to our waters. When I fly out and I look at the coast of California, that is not the color of the waves. And people say, oh, it's just different water. No, it's polluted water, and we need to correct all of this. And then, of course, we've got all the things that we know about Fukushima and everything. So this is extremely important.
Yeah. Also, what I have is it beats radioactivity. I mean, even a friend of mine, which I admire, Patrick Flanagan, has a device that can null nuclear radiation.
Okay.
And people just need to wake up to the fact that it's out there and start financing that. The Dr. Keshe from the Keshe Foundation gave the Japanese government a formula how to turn nuclear radiation into gold particles. I mean, it's all officially on the net. It's been released. Everybody knows what to do. Now we need to get up and do it and apply, you know. Bring the Gulf Stream back, you know.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Okay, well, these are the real tools to do it. So let's talk about some of these items. You've got a Gammatron Key.
Gammatron. Gammatron as in Tron as in circuitry, gamma as in highest light.
Yes.
Everybody thinks the gamma ray, like in science fiction, portrays a death ray. No, gamma means the highest. As in gamma brain waves are the highest brain function with the highest focus and the highest level of attunement is gamma. That's why Gammatron. And Gammatron is kind of like a higher light function of bringing the light body back online, the heart resonance, the brain frequency, the cell communication at the RNA level has to do with light impulses. And what I put into those keys is nanospherical quartz sand. What we do is we have these photonic cannons that don't need electricity. They harvest photons from the air, from the cosmos, and direct it through a vacuum into crystals. And the Russians have tested that in the 50s. It's just, I'm basically expanding on that, that when you have nanospherical quartz sand enhanced with photons on a light level 10 to the 23rd, everything grows better, grows faster, is more durable. DNA also begins to repair itself. When people talk about DNA repair occurs when a light level of 10 to the 15th is created. So if you hold that sand next to a human vessel, it begins to repair on a subtle level. And so the Gammatron Key is my major seller. Then I have the Ra Key, which is also called the Rainbow Ascension Key, which was the original thing, which is an aluminum container with a holographic sticker on it that basically runs affirmations to heal the vessel and bless the vessel, and all of that amplified through the nanospherical quartz sand within the key that is sealed. And in the orgonite and the other tools that I sell, I always use nanospherical quartz sand. It can also be used for agricultural purposes. That's why I'm looking for land. If I charge regular quartz, let's say chalk, with the frequency of healthy soil, that means I can run the light frequency of unfertilized soil, and you put that into your acres. You need no fertilizer and you need no pesticide, and it will be parasite free, and your strawberries will grow 3 times the size.
Mm.
And then we can talk about cosmically aligned organic food,
Mm-hmm.
which you see Whole Foods selling organic food. That's actually impossible because all the acres in the U.S. are fertilized, all of them. So organic food is a little bit of a myth, in my opinion.
Mm.
Organic means to me when the acres are untreated with chemicals, no chemical substance needed. The only thing you need to do in the soil is change the light levels, and I have the capacity and the machinery to do it. That's the new business. Everything on planetary repair and away from chemistry, more into biodegradable stuff.
Yes, planetary repair. Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about abundance, people have problems with their abundance, first of all, because, and that's what we can do that in a retreat or special classes, they don't know about thought management.
Mm-hmm.
And then your thoughts accelerate photons. Like if you make a wish, that wish becomes a photon. That photon goes out of your third eye, which is the front of your cerebellum, and that photon sends out an information to the other photons that you require that wish. And then that's the trick. Then the universe can respond. That's the ultimate magic. And when you increase your photonic level and the balance of your plasmic, the four bodies, the plasmic, the etheric, the electric, and the magnetic body. When you align that, you can project thought, which also needs to be trained, and then manifest what you need in life without limit. So the Gammatron Key basically as a pendant is designed to enhance that in people, to structure that they understand more of them, who they are, more cosmic knowledge, more download, lucid dreams. I had a kid that got bullied in school. He said since he wears the key, there's an angel walking behind him, and the bullying has stopped, and the mother is so happy. And it's not because of the kid's personality has changed. We just changed the light spectrum, and the light field is not attractive for bullies.
There you go. Everything is frequency.
Dogs calm down. I make it for pets, called the Ra Key for pets.
Uh-huh.
If you have a dog that's really, really going raucous and wild and out of control, you really have problems, test it out. Get one of my keys, put it on your dog, and you see your dog coming home, around the block, disappearing for days. Your rug is not in pieces. He uses his litter box and behaves.
Yes.
You can adjust that. All it has to do with the correct light frequency. Because dogs are super empath. They get everything. And if they're in an environment that's chaotic, guess what? Your dog will respond to the chaos. And you think your dog is sick.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Hollow Shield and maybe some of the Galactivate oils and potions.
Okay, the Galactivation oil works similar like the pendant, but it's more like conductive. You put it on your skin, so for topographical use only, is to align your chakras and your energy systems in your body. And I charge the oil with the photonic sand, so I have devices that are filled with the sand that emanate the photons, as in biophotons, that activate the oil. That's why it has such a strong aroma. Like it smells very like rosy, rosemary type. And when you enhance that, and I also put it in a jar where I've created a artificial magnetic earth vortex with rare earth magnets. So the oil is treated magnetically and with a light frequency as if it would sit in the king's chamber of the pyramid. So it's very potent oil. That's the galactivation oil. The galactivation ormus itself is photonically enhanced ormus, which I think nobody on the planet actually does that. Where I'm taking my ormus, the way I use the Egyptian method. For those who want to do it at home, it's all displayed on YouTube tutorials how to make it. But what I do is I use my photonic mini cannons and shoot biophotons into the ormus. And I'll also advance that. I've built a plasmic healing pen, according to the Keshe Foundation, to create plasmic healing water, and I will use that water to mix and wash the ormus. So it will be plasmically and photonically enhanced, which will be a completely different ormus than a regular ormus that you will take. And that ormus is designed to give your brain fuel to repair itself and to get your psychic abilities and your true self back up. So ormus is pure brain food. It's not even being digested. If you put that on your tongue, it goes straight into the brain. So that's why Galactivate.
These are available in your special offer as well, so we invite our listeners to check out that link on this webpage. Wow, wonderful work. The Arcturian Scientist bringing forth these wonderful items. And now let's quickly mention the Holo Shield, because that also is great for phones.
Yes, the Holo Shield is basically it's not an EMF blocker. It's more like it blesses your phone.
Okay.
It protects it from your own energy, because that also can be interference. Some people tend to blow systems. Like my girl, when she gets so excited, she fries her Apple computer, which Apple never happens, but she has so much energy that the system just freezes for a moment. And then when I tell her to calm down, it comes back. So these stickers are basically help you to own your own merkabic field to harmonize and calm it down. And also there are affirmations on these stickers, such as clarity, harmony, grounding. Let me see, get one out of here while I'll sit here and read. You have grounding, abundance, forgiveness, fearless, wisdom. And these are like little affirmations that run from these hollow shields that shield you, but also run an automatic affirmation, as you know, from Masaru Emoto, consciousness of water. You write something down and you put it in the field of an object. The object kind of becomes one with that field. So to get the magic of the abundance healed for people that need to connect to the universe better and understanding. So you put these stickers on your camera or your phone, and so every time you use your phone, you're running an affirmation actually. To bless yourself, to get your abundance going, to get your consciousness, is to awaken you, to make you alert, and to install the original consciousness back into your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these hollow shields are for.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that, and all the incredible work that you do bringing this knowledge, this technology into physical form here on our planet to repair and make everything physical now, to really bring back a higher vibrational state, a higher conscious state for humanity. Mm-hmm. Removing the fall, uplifting again. Okay, you mentioned the St. Germain Fund as well.
Yeah, that has to do with, that's interdimensional. For those that do the job like I do, there are certain souls that are picked on this planet that will give a payout to those that deliver the technology. Let's say, for example, somebody approaches me and says, here, I'll gift you $50 million. Don't worry about it. This is yours. I'm getting the impulse to do that. You know what you have to do. And this has to do with the St. Germain Fund. It means there are funds that are actually for us, so we can do our job.
Yes. And so as we do our job and we really act in fifth dimensional frequencies,
yes,
that truly is being in the heart and
yes,
working and creating from the heart, so that it's not focused on the old 3D paradigm, which is I'm going to do something if I can make money at it.
yes.
It's shifting to a whole new perspective.
People think it's like, oh, you want $50 million to get $50 million. For me, it's like the first thing I want to do is not buy a Lamborghini.
Right.
It's to acquire land where we can have a facility where I can have samadhi tanks, which are sensory deprivation tanks, saltwater tanks. There's another institute that I'd like to work with. They call biocybernaut.com, that you have facilities where people can get their brain and alpha state trained, that they can stabilize their brain frequency so we can get them out of depression. Have a facility where Patrick Flanagan's neurophone is either offered for while they stay there to use or to buy. And I have myself, I'm a distributor for a photonic bed, which is 50,000 euros, and it looks like a freaking spaceship where you can do color, light, sound treatment on a photonic bed. Have all that in one retreat center, where when people use these modalities with a certain Starseed diet for 2 weeks, they'll come out changed. And we can establish that And so I can build my lab from that, build bigger devices, and make more stuff happen, and inspire others to do so. So the money is basically used to consciously spend that onto something that can help others heal when they ran out of chemical alternatives, or they went from doctor to doctor and they still have back pain and they're tired of taking medicine that numbs them. They want permanent physical effects. So that's also, I would send them to advanced cell training, a friend of mine named Gary Blair, and say, you want your autoimmune system to wake up? Well, then teach the Rife machine, which is the conscious Rife machine, which is your brain, and train your cells to wake up to the fact of what viruses that you carry that you don't even know of, so you can get into your human potential. And then all of those people that heal and go through these, I can call it the mystery schools of Ra, or Starseed Starport Recreational Retreat Center, they all can make the same money. They can all be millionaires. When you're aligned and in purpose, there's no hindrance and there's no problem in acquiring that. And then we can also have money to travel the world to set the stuff up worldwide. And then the healing can commence on a much greater level. So that's the idea, is to be abundant, to make the cash, to also Jesus wasn't broke. People have to know that he was funded by the Order of Maria Magdalene in gold for his travels. Everything costs money. And so he can perform his miracles to show to the people. And yeah, make that money and be conscious with what you make, And you can still have your TV or PlayStation, a nice car, not a crazy car, but a nice car that fits the purpose. Go do your vending, go to these expos, make your presence felt, which costs money, but you can show them and change consciousness. And then from there, we really learn to free ourselves. And the one way is what we was talking about, a moneyless society. People have misunderstood that. We're reaching the immaterial way of money, which is we're getting digital with money. But the value of exchange will remain, so we have an understanding of what that means to be on this planet. I'll give you bread, you fix my roof. There's still an exchange taking place. And however you label that, that is our responsibility. So I say, get money, get the land. I mean, even if I go to Home Depot to build one of my weather regulating machines, that costs money to get the material and the resources to set it up. And that has to be respected and brought home. And then you can make money. It's not like trying to be broke, because a spiritual broke man has no economical power, and that's useless. So we want the active stuff, the physical stuff. And my counsel still says it over and over. In any dimension that you are physical or you have physical contact, it takes the physical to create the physical. You cannot go around that.
Thank you for clarifying that, because there are limiting belief systems with many spiritual folk, that spirit gets angry when you involve money, or like you said, money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
We free ourselves when we get out of that slave matrix and we really learn how to live our passion, and that comes with setting yourself up for that exchange of value. And oftentimes it's the value that we place on our own work that some spiritual people don't add. For example, if you are making gadgets and widgets, but you don't take the margin because you don't want to be in it for the money, then that's cutting yourself out of that value exchange. The guy who, for example, gives you the materials or the wood to make that project gets his full fair share.
Yes.
Other aspects and people that come in to make that come into manifestation get their fair share. So why would you, as the creator of that product, not take a fair share, normal industry standard percentage?
Yes.
Right? In a way that allows you to grow and expand.
Yeah, for like if I had some money, right now I would buy 2 tons of shungite, which I need is to clear the EMF in the field, and build meter devices that can actually clear the EMF,
Okay.
Order that, I would probably need $3,000 just for the shipping to get that stuff here. So that's how I would invest, and then I have material here, more material to build more stuff and to distribute more stuff I can assemble.
Beautiful. This is conscious capital.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It respects the energy
Yes.
behind, I don't even like to use the word money, but
Yeah.
it respects the energy behind the prosperity, the abundance.
Exactly, yeah. I call it spiritual capitalism.
Spiritual capitalism.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't have to chase. Spiritual capitalism should be on a level where, let's say, somebody picks a guy without trying to own him and says, okay, I give you $10,000. Do what you have to do. This is your gift. To inspire people into their independence.
Yes.
And what comes back there without a contract that's written is like tenfold. You know, you give somebody $10,000 if you have it, and they already established to a point where you see what they're doing, not just give me money, you know.
When we look at, well, I call it a Ponzi scheme, the stock market,
Yeah.
I no longer choose to play in that way, but there are many who do. It's a belief system that you have to look out for your future.
Yeah.
However, it is much better to, instead of $10,000 to yourself for the future, which has a high likelihood of being taken by those who are manipulating it, wouldn't it be great to give it to someone to inspire them into their independence?
Exactly. And if they have resource, you can't steal $10,000 worth of resource. That's too much work. So that kills the thief.
And so wouldn't you say as well, you can invest that in your own independence?
Yes, yes.
I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm calling to the hearts in this consciousness shift.
Yeah.
If you've got money in a 401k and you have a dream, invest that in yourself. That will get you independent.
See, Patrick Flanagan did it. He said, I need money to build the neurophone. You can buy one with an Indiegogo campaign, and the guy is over $1.6 million, and he sold out. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
And then I can look at these people that bought the neurophone, invested in themselves with their money into somebody who can deliver that assembled, because not everybody is an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And now people have these phones to enhance the neural, it's like to optimize the neurological function of their brain states. And that's beneficial. And who knows what these people who have these phones do in the future. They want to invest in somebody who develops, I don't know, holographic imprinting of gardening to make flowers grow better. And he already has a garden, but he needs money to make that hut bigger. Well, then invest into that. So I asked to the humans, what are you invested in? Revlon lipstick or something that can develop your consciousness and enhance your life and human potential? It's our choice.
Yes. So if you do invest in a stock market and there's public stocks like that on conscious companies, put it there.
Yes. That, or if you want it more transparent, look at Indiegogo. What were out there? There was a guy who rebuilt the Warden Cliff Tower, which was his attempt to rebuild the Tesla Tower. Invest in that guy and see him. Also, there are rules when you say you're going to build this and this from this investment. Indiegogo says you have to show and prove. You can't go there and harvest and then not deliver. That's very good.
Yes. Crowdfunding and is another fine example of how the walls have come down. The walls of resistance, the walls that kept us in separate. Like now we've got YouTube. We can be our own television station.
Yes.
We can get our own projects funded. The economics professor from the outside looks at crowdfunding and, you know, furrows his brow, not certain what to do about that.
Yeah.
But I personally love it because it shows the power that we, the people, are the economy. And that's powerful.
Yeah, it's coming back to us. Also, there's a guy called, this website's called Hemp Adobe Homes.
I just saw that on your Facebook page.
Yeah, if this guy, I mean, you have to check out this website. The guy, this is the future business. He can build a 2-family home for $15,000 just by printing the blocks out of material that breathes Earth's frequency in a hemp mesh.
Wow.
So, you know, I would invest in that guy. Have him print you want an Adobe home, you can have hexagonal blocks.
That's it.
So the golden ratio printed by a machine and build your house with that. Like it's cheaper than buying a mansion for $2 million. You know?
Yeah.
It's all up to us now. What are we willing to invest in? I want to invest in that guy. The minute I have land, I want to get him to print the material I need for domes.
Yeah.
I want him exclusive. That guy is phenomenal.
Well, thank you for dreaming big, and thank
Yes.
you for responding to the task,
Yes.
and for not shutting it down, for not thinking you were crazy to go get on pharmaceutical drugs for
Yeah.
bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
Thank you for that truth.
See,
And
I've never been here. I never been to therapy. I never took any pharmaceuticals. The only thing I took was aspirin to beat my migraines, which I have healed.
awesome.
And my mom was like, "We're not pill poppers," and she went to what's it called, homeopathy. Never like regular doctors. My mom always mixed with the nature of things, of how can we do this the natural way without using chemicals. And I'm glad she did, because she kind of paved the way for me to be in what I'm doing right now. And step by step, I mean, it's a bee, but we're being successful. We're climbing it. We're not giving up. We keep on pushing, and there's less resistance. And we do it individual. And I'm not making any claims. I tell people, read the testimonials. Read what people describe, what they experience with my technology, and go by there. That's what I do. Like if there was a guy out there who sold a product to 500,000 clients, and they're all cancer-free and whatnot, then I buy that product because I see there's 500,000 people and nobody complains and no product has ever been returned. Well, you can trust that. That's my new expert. It's the people.
Yes. Yes. The voice of the people right
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are going to do an online healing retreat masterclass with you. I'm so excited for that.
Yes.
You have got such wonderful information. We are going to talk more about the mind,
Yes.
all the bodies, the light body, and building the etheric, the plasmic, the magnetic, and the electric.
Mm-hmm.
What can we experience in these sessions?
In these sessions, I will give people basically modalities of diets and what they need to look at to get their energetic system as in the basic foundation right. Meaning, in order for an astronaut, as in your astral body, to tether out and explore dimensions, your station needs to be fully equipped. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
That is your platform. Without a platform, you have no statue to stand on. And the platform is your body. And that is the basic 3D thing that everybody hates so much. We're going 5D and they want to just shut everything and have no money and have no body. Your responsibility is to be in the body and pay your bills and be on time and don't betray one another and be aligned and be in transparency and be accountable and be responsible.
Yes.
So I'm breaking it down to physically, what does that mean to have your body physically in gear? And then we go metaphysical from there. How to build your mind, how to effectively restore your light body. This is going to be very, very revolutionary because I'll give people something that has a physical effect, not theoretical mantras where you imagine something and you're hoping for a change. Really, where you come out of it, you're like, my goodness, what just happened, We get out of the theoretical esoteric potential. Do this, apply this. Now, how does that feel? And that seems to work pretty well with my people, to give them an experience that they can say, this is what I felt. Mental and subconscious and clearing emotional body, like processes and meditations and deep visual meditation devices that enhance the process if people have problems really in their mind getting into the experience. There are gadgets out there that are phenomenal. Like, you don't even have to be a pro. They'll turn you into a pro in 7 minutes. I tested these devices for years now, so I know. It's like a little bit like the seasoning. What do you use for your interdimensional soup to cook? And I will say cayenne pepper, a little bit of Himalayan salt. I don't sell the seasoning, but I can give you the formula for an excellent soup. So I'm talking about transitioning into things that the body can hack and not overwhelming the body. That's why people get lost and lose grounding and lose even psychic abilities and all that good stuff, which is important while we're going through this transition, to be grounded and be in a well-nourished body, however you do it. I can share everything, basically. This is all beneficial for people to hear.
Well, many great things to experience when you build your mind in this way, and when you align all of these bodies, we can truly manifest on New Earth in a new human way.
Yes. It's basically anchor. The new Earth exists already. What we're doing is we're bringing it in by manifesting it into the physical form. So I want to build a town that kind of looks like George Jetson Town.
I have been waiting for that, and I also have been waiting for my jetpack.
Yeah, that's once I have all of the light capacity installed and the healing the human body, then I get into anti-gravity. That's like the next level.
Okay, so hold on to your hats as we go through this experience together in the Sacred Heart. Okay, well, thank you for that. Your special offer has all of the information on that online healing retreat. You're including some digital downloads of your teachings as well, and that is a fabulous start. So we invite our listeners to check that out, as well as the many products that you offer that are handmade by you. Wow, Arcturus Ra, as we say goodbye today, is there any last message for our listeners of the most important message?
I would just say, listen to one another. Look at what's out there, what's for you. Don't waste your time. This lifetime, this body given, is you borrowed it. You are gifted. Every breath you take, every existence is experience is gifted. If that is gone, there's no return and no giving it back. Be smart in choosing your experience. Be kind to one another. Be open. Be loving. And invest into what you'd like to see in the world. So if there's a guy who has a fertilizer that's based on alkaline water that turns oil into chlorophyll, named Ido, you'll find that online. I have nothing to do with this guy. Invest.
Yes.
That's only natural to do that, you know. And it's not even expensive. It's not even crazy money. You know? And Macintosh computer is expensive. But these healing modalities are not so expensive unless you want bigger systems and whatnot. So hear one another, link with one another, listen and pay attention to one another, be kind to one another, and invest in what you'd like to see on this planet when you care. So care. You have to care. And that's why you're in your body. You care. That's what I wanted to share with the people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for this quantum conversation, Arcturus Ra.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this program, please share it with your friends and loved ones. And we thank you for shining your magnificent light and adding it to the world. This is when we love ourselves like no one else can. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.